Hello everyone! We all make mistakes, it's totally normal. But why is it that when playing a specific agent, almost every player tends to make the same mistakes? Today I'll break down the biggest mistake for every agent. To make things easier, I divided them by roles so you can easily find your main. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, only 1% of you are watching my videos without subscribing. It could be you! Let's finally hit that 100%. And of course, smash the like button and share in the comments which mistakes you or other often make. Let's dive in. Starting with the most popular role, Duelist.
Just take a seat. I got this.
This agent has a pretty straightforward abilities, right? Throw a flash, push with it and get a kill, and heal yourself if needed. Simple, but let's rewind that moment and take a closer look. Here's what's wrong. You throw your flash, push in, and your entire team is also blind. The issue? People rarely call out when they're flashing. When you're pushing with your team, communicate. It's simple.
Flashing.
Can save your teammate eyes and sanity.
Cool, let's go.
There's a well-established pattern when playing Jet. You drop a deep smoke, dash into it and take control. It's a solid move, and I'm not saying to stop doing it. But what happens when you've done the same thing 3 rounds in a row? This. The mistake here is being predictable. Instead, mix things up. Try cutting off an angle with your smoke and checking another one. If you get a kill, you now have 2 options: dash back to your team or push into a surprise position to take control of OK spot. Be unpredictable.
Yes, I'm pumped!
Let's talk about the Queen of Explosions. Her grenade is probably the most underrated ability in her kit. Most players only use it to get kills. But let's say you throw a grenade, nothing happened, and you push the side. Then this happens. Here's the tip, use your grenade for utility. With agents like Deadlock, Cypher and Killjoy being so common, why not clear traps and gadgets with your grenade? Its massive radius makes it perfect for safely entering the site. Just throw it high to cover enemy abilities and you'll have much smoother time pushing into AK positions.
Move or get zapped.
We all are watching highlights reels of Neon, fast-paced skill with no mercy. But when you pick Neon, it's a different story. Either you sprint around the map like it's a marathon, or you are too scared to use your speed because the enemy might hear you. Here's the deal, your mobility is greatest weapon. Use your speed to gather info and act on it. If you spot an enemy, don't hesitate. Even if they try to reposition, you'll catch them off guard with your speed.
Enough training. It's time.
One of my personal favorites, but how often have I died because I was too greedy to pop my shield? Too many times. And I know I'm not alone. Many players refuse to use ice or shields because they're worried about the sound giving them away. Here's the thing, if smokes and abilities are already flying into the side, the enemy knows you're coming. If you have your shield available, use it. It's basically a second life, don't forget that.
They have no idea how heartless I am.
The community favorite and the most played agent. I'm sure you'll hear this mistake 1,000 times, throwing a flash at head level. But let me explain why that is such problem. Look at this, here is the wrong way to flash. And here, the right way. Notice the difference? Let's slow it down. In the first case, after breaking the flash, the crosshair already close to your head. But in the second case, the enemy has to look up, break the flash, and then reposition their crosshair. Makes it much harder to win the fight.
I'll fight anybody. I'll fight everybody.
This agent has some seriously strong abilities, offering insane mobility and mind games. But let's be real, the hero on your team probably always has 2 teleport in their pocket. You should always have 1 teleport active. It gives you so much flexibility, rotating faster, changing position or tricking enemies into thinking you are left. Now let's move on to support agent. One major mistake stands out for all supports, pairing with the wrong role. Remember, 19% of the time, you should be playing with the Duelist. Your utility helps them gather and act on information.
Wherever they run, I will find them.
One of the most common things I see when people play solo is skipping the drone in favor of 2 shock darts. I get it, sometimes we all want to channel out in a Robin Hood, but trust me, the drone is far more valuable. Think of it as a second life. You're basically a less lethal Phoenix or KO, your job is to gather intel. Using your drone to reveal enemy position can make your team push much more effective than firing 2 arrows into random corners.
Stand in my way. I dare you.
Breach is easily one of the most challenging and team-oriented supports to play, but that's what makes him so interesting. When I play him, I sometimes catch myself doing this. It's fine if your goal is to lose, but we're here to win, right? The main mistake when playing Breach is solo play. Every ability in his kit is designed to help your teammates take control on an area or site. Using his ability for yourself will never be as effective as enabling your team to make big plays.
Alright, where's the fight?
I constantly see players struggling to figure out when to use Sky's ultimate. Some use it at the start of the push, others during a retake, and while both can work, it's not the most effective approach. Sky has 2 other abilities that are perfect for gathering initial formation. Save your ultimate for when the enemy team is down to 3 players. At that point, it's like sending 3 wingmans onto the side. They scout, destruct, and if they read the enemies, they'll blind them. Use it strategically for maximum impact.
Let's do this.
Chaos Knife isn't for cutting fruit or throwing randomly at the start of the round. It's an incredibly powerful tool when used right. Stop tossing it aimlessly at the start of every round. Your role as a support is to create the best opportunities for your teammates. For example, instead of immediately throwing your knife, start by flashing for your teammate to push and gather info. If you already know where the enemies are setting up for a side push, time your knife perfectly to suppress their abilities during the execute. This creates chaos for the enemy team and gives you a prime opportunity to deny their utility while taking a strong position.
Everyone is afraid of something.
A classic god girl with her dark vibes, black cat and spooky tricks. What the biggest mistake player makes with the Fate? If you guessed not learning lineups, you're absolutely right. If you want to play Fate effectively, you must learn your lineups. Lineups allow you to reveal enemy position, set up quick rotation, or even fake a push onto the other side. Without them, you're missing out on the full potential of her kit, so grab a custom lobby and start practicing.
Watch anyway. My crew is coming through.
Why you're sending your chubby little body to plant a spike when you're already inside? Gecko's biggest mistake is not well on Dizzy, his wingman. Dizzy can be incredibly helpful when you need to pick or clear angles.
New weapons. Say more.
Honestly, I don't even know why Teo classified as a support. He's an unstoppable killing machine. He can hold off pushes, gather information, flush enemies out of position. What can't he do? The biggest mistake with Teo? Not picking him while he's so strong. Just lock him in and you'll figure out the rest later. He did good right now. I think we're done with the support players. Let's talk about smokes.
They think I'm an old dog? I'll show them just how many tricks I know.
One of the simple smoke agents is Brimstone. But if he's so simple, why do players still make mistakes when playing him? Let's talk about his short ability. Why isn't it always picked? I'll tell you, it's one of the best abilities. Not only does it give mobility to you and your team, but combined with your smokes, you can quickly and aggressively take K position. Always pick their ability and play aggressively with him. Even though Brimstone is no longer the youngest, he is ready to bring the fastest and most aggressive gameplay to your team.
No one can hold their breath forever.
Viper is probably the most specific smoke agent in the game. Her smokes are a very long wall and one or more or less standard smoke that she needs to throw with precision. The main mistake when playing this character, in my opinion, is not known in the maps. You really need to understand exactly where the enemies could be and analyze their gameplay. Playing Viper is like playing a chess game. That's why I believe this character is only suitable for players who have a solid understanding of the game.
I am the beginning. I am the end.
You can play this agent in any way you like. Wanna play passively? Sure, flash for your teammate, throw a smoke and safely TP out. Prefer to play aggressively? Okay, smoke under yourself, grab a shotgun and now you're a Reaper from Overwatch. The main mistake with Omen is not utilizing his versatility. Yes, he's still a smoke player and going in first might be not the best idea, but why not take a shotgun during a nick round and throw a smoke like that? I've personally made 100 of kills doing just that. What if you control mid? And if you get information that one of the side is bane pushing, not only will you be able to throw smoke, but you can also help with a flash from an unexpected position since it goes through walls. Use this agent versatility and surprise your opponents.
I am on a higher plane, Charlie. Literally.
I don't know, does anyone even play Astra? If so, share in the comments what mistakes players often make with this agent. Maybe that's what's holding Astra back from being meta?
Together, we'll crush them.
Aquaman is also quite specific. Again, he has a wall and smoke that also act as shields. The main mistake with Habo is how players place the wall. If you're doing it like this, then stop doing it that way. Your task is to block top K position, not everything. If you just close off entire side, you'll trap yourself in a cage of enemy abilities. Always leave some position open for further advancement and let your team know about it.
I've got all the time in the world.
The last smoke agent in our list is Clove. I honestly don't understand why they gave a Duelist a smoked, but okay. Why a Duelist? Well, for example, because even after dying she can still use her smokes, or she can speed up and heal after a kill, or even resurrect herself. Anyway, the main mistake with the Clove is playing passively. The character encourages you to play more aggressively. No, I'm not saying run in front of everyone, but if you're sure about side you're pushing, or if you have ultimate, you can afford to play unpredictably. The last one left are the Sentinels.
Relax, I've already thought of everything.
We've all seen Killjoy throwing her grenade onto the spike, and it's actually not a bad decision. It was a few years ago, but why do people still use it if in 90% of these cases they just get destroyed? So should we stop using grenade this way? Not exactly. You can always throw them behind a texture, as the explosion radius of these grenades passes through all textures. You can do it here, or even here, for example. And if you watch my video on OG tricks, you know that on split you can even throw a grenade out the map.
Nothing stays hidden from me. Nothing.
When I play Cypher, I always try to surprise my opponents. Believe me, you can try placing absolutely crazy tripwires and they can work. The main mistake with this agent is using the same lineups over and over again. You need to surprise your opponents and create the most uncomfortable condition for them. Stop placing tripwires in the same spots.
I am both shield and sword.
I want to share an interesting thing about healing. I often see people healing only when their teammate had less than 50 HP, so remember the number 70. If you shoot with the most weapon when a teammate HP is at 70, that's at least one additional body shot. So don't be stingy with the heal button if your teammate has less than 70 HP. Players on stage, you can heal me even when I have 99 HP, I will allow it.
You have good taste, my friend.
I really don't like Chamber, and to me, just picking this agent is already a mistake. Chamber mains are probably going to throw tomatoes at me, but as a defender, he seems much weaker than any other agent. A couple of smokes easily shut him down, and pushing aside is no trouble at all.
Death is not an option.
I'm really surprised that people are just now starting to realize the traits of this agent. She has everything for both attack and defense. This is so cool. And her gameplay is pretty straightforward, but what about her ultimate? Why do you keep missing with it? Let me show you how to properly use her ultimate, so you can hit opponents more often. First of all, the principle is that it bounces off any surface and hits something else. It's important to understand this. For example, if you want to throw the ultimate in front of you, and now that you understand how it works, you'll be able to use it much more effectively.
All paths end with me.
I think Weiss is not the strongest agent in general. The problem isn't the power of her abilities, they're actually pretty good, but rather their implementation. Riot, add new maps. I want to play Weiss. Her abilities are just way too noticeable. Also, you can definitely surprise with the flash. The main mistake with Weiss is the obvious use of the flash. I mean, if you're defending, why not use this position instead of that one? Or when attacking, you could throw the flash instead of the generic one in the middle of the wall. They have almost the same area of effect. I've covered every agent and the main mistakes that are often made with them. Thanks a lot for watching, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, it really helps. Also, don't forget to comment about which mistakes you make or used to make most often. And make sure to join my Discord server, one lucky person recently won a Valorant points. Wishing you all a speedy improvement and a fixing of mistakes. See you next time. Bye bye.